Hey guys, it's MisterTanooki here. Welcome to something a bit different once again. I guess more than anything, this is the continuation of my room tour video. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that now. I'll leave a link in the description. I will leave annotations on screen or cards or whatever YouTube are doing these days. But this is something that a lot of people have asked. They've said, Daniel, how do you record your Let's Plays? Now, I'm not going to say that I'm the Mahatma Gandhi of top quality Let's Plays, but I have, over my period of 5 years doing this, developed somewhat of an experience of dealing with recording these in the best way possible. And over here you can see this is my Elgato Capture program, Game Capture HD. I'm not going to be exploring that today because if you saw in my room tour video, you'll know that's what I record with. And I'm kind of under the impression that if you've downloaded that and you own an Elgato, then you already know how to use that, at least in the most basic sense. So I'm not going to be going to that, but if you have downloaded that, what you will know is it has a live commentary feature. Warning, if you can, do not use that. I've used it in the past. Sometimes it comes off sync. It cuts off towards the end quite a lot if you just stop the recording. So it's not very good. But what I use instead is this program called Audacity. You can see we're actually recording my audio as we speak. And the reason I want to bring this up is because there's a lot of important tips that I have actually learnt. Now, one thing that I recently kind of learnt about is this thing up here. This basically lowers the recording volume. Now, I kind of try to keep it on a distance based on where I am from the mic. 7.5, between 7 and 7.5 and 6 seems to be kind of the best area for me. But you don't want it to be too quiet. If it is too quiet, you can always scale it up in editing, which I will be showing. But basically, to find out how, where you need to have this, what I like to find is I like to do harsh sounds. H's, K's, S's, T's. Anything that's going to make a that kind of sound. And you can see it caps right there. And you'll note, see, I'll start moving it up. And you can slowly start to tell the difference between how loud my volume is. You can see it's starting to cap a lot more. And the volume won't sound as good. So I'm actually just going to lower it back down. And you may have noticed that in Galaxy. Kind of, not really in Other M. Because in Other M I really kind of sorted it out and I found this method. But that really is helpful and I suggest that. But the question is, if you're not going to use live recording and you're using this instead, how do you make sure it's synced up to your game? Well, that is what I'm going to show you now. I actually record with this isn't what I record with. I edit with Sony Vegas Pro 12. I'd recommend it to anyone. I got it when it was kind of on sale, still kind of new. But what you can see here is I've got some footage. This is actually Mario Kart 8. No spoilers because this is the first episode. Now, this is actually recorded with that method. It's obvious that this over here is where the actual commentary starts because, as you can see, it's like a constant stream of audio. But the question is, how do we get that synced up? Well, as you can see, we've got these tiny bits over here. Now, what I find is you've got to match your voice to something on the screen so you're able to sync it up. So what I find is if I can just actually go in there. This should probably be where it starts. I like to count from 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. There we go. Right. Let me actually, I'm going to do this live in front of you guys. Just show you how it works. I tend to go about there. That's where it starts. 1. There we go. So there, once you find your place, it really helps if you just do that. Resize it. And what I like to do is I like to start on the home screen and I'll sync it up based on going to things. So what you'll see here is we're on resume and we're going to switch to manual in a second. If you just keep watching, we will switch. You need to be aware of what the perfect time to sync this up is. So there you go. You can see we just switched. Now with the Wii U menu, what I find is when you say 1, 2, 3, I tend to do it just as it switches. So we're going to want to put it about there. That's what the frame will be. And then, let's just watch. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's slightly out of sync, as you can see right there. But you can see it's really starting to come together. I think if we put it like that, I think it's just about 2 frames off. 1,
2, 3.
Okay. This is not going well for me. I think what the problem might be, actually, is... I'll put it one more there. And now let's try that.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, yep,
6.
that seems about right. See, I'm also an early and late reactor, so you kind of got to know when you react to it. It's kind of like a mental thing. It's really hard if you bulk record. But this is my intro right here, as you may recognise. And I like to start, this is the way I remember it, because it starts to reveal the game screen at 12 seconds and 21 milliseconds, as you can see right there. So if we go to 12:20, that's where we want to put the game and the audio. So we're going to want to zoom in right here and find the exact place where I start commenting, which is there.
Hey everyone!
There we go. My typical hey everyone intro. Now what you're going to want to do, you can see that the time here, 2 minutes, 27 seconds and 24 milliseconds. We want to go back 2 seconds because the intro slide lasts 2 whole seconds. So we're going to want to get that to 2 minutes, 25 seconds and 24 milliseconds. What you can do here is you just go to previous frame. It was 25, 24, wasn't it? I think that was about it. And then we resize not just the commentary, but also the game audio and video. And we'll find the place where we want to put it, which is 12:20. And we'll just kind of just move that just over here. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky. Just got to know exactly where to do it. I find kind of more from years of experience, it will it just gets a lot easier. What I also like to do is I like to make it so there's a slight fade where the commentary starts. So, oh, that just went wrong there, didn't it? But luckily, once you start a fade, it creates like a point where you can click and you got the right place. So, let's just start over here. See if, yep, and you can see that
everyone,
syncs up
MisterTanooki
exactly
here.
correctly.
Welcoming you back.
So, I just want to demonstrate quickly that that is synced up. This place looks over here like it's got some kind of cap.
Because that would be absolutely insane. Like, we literally almost outran that wheel.
I'm hoping there's going to be a
That's how
reaction
fast
so I
we're
can show
going,
that it is
guys.
actually synced up.
And it's so cool they added something like this.
But I think,
I'm giddy like a schoolgirl.
yeah, I think it's synced up because I remember saying about being giddy like a schoolgirl almost exactly at that part. So that's good enough. So that's what I do, and that's how you get it all synced up, if you're interested. So that's more or less the concern that everyone has had about this. That is how you should record a Let's Play. That's the best way to do it. That's how you get your audio synced and your video synced. Now, something I will mention, this is very important. I want to get to a straight kind of area over here. Right, 15 minutes, 26 seconds. Now, I want to click to the next frame. Now, because there's 60 frames in a second, right? 60 frames per second, that's the highest it goes up to. You'd expect this, when it gets to 60 milliseconds, it switches to 27, right? Well, let's test that. Let's try and get to 60. And, oh wait, you got to 30 and it switched to 27 seconds. Well, that is because, my friends, this has been recorded at 30 frames per second. Editing programs like this are not really meant for gameplay footage, which is why I find if you record in 60 frames per second, you're just going to become really unsynced because you're always going to be those 2 frames out, and that does build up over time. You may not seem it, but if you have reactions, you need to be reacting that exact point in time, it really does make a massive difference. So now, how do I save these? What you got to do is go to File, Render As, and some people don't know how you render in the proper format. Well, what I do is just wait for it to load. You want to go to here, Main Concept AVC. You can see it says MP4 there, which some of you probably recognise. 1080p, 720p. That's what you want. You can also configure it to be 1080p or 1260p. I think the next one up is, and 60 frames per second and stuff like that. But if you can avoid recording in 60 frames per second, it may seem stupid, but it's really not worth it. That slight quality boost doesn't really make that much of a difference when you're editing. So now what I want to mention is one last thing. Now some of you are actually interested how I make my thumbnails. This is the episode 1 of Mario Kart 8 thumbnail, I use a program called paint.net. It's a free program. You can go to getpaint.net. That's the full web link. Not just getpaint.net. That's all you type in. And it will take you there. You go to a download screen. I previously did use Photoshop, but the only thing I find with Photoshop is I personally don't think it's as good for thumbnails. I just find I don't have that freedom with it that I do with Paint.net. Photoshop's better for where you need an image to put in a video, is what I find. So that's what I use that for. But Paint.net is what I use for thumbnails. You can download a lot of effects, and it actually gets better than Photoshop if you download the user-made effects. So basically how I make this, let me just get a quick image. I always use the impact font, and I try and get around 192, and you see that looks a bit strange. That's why. Okay, and now you can move this layer up so the text is about. Okay, I've messed up. That's not a very good example. Let me just make a whole new layer, and then I'll demonstrate to everyone how you do this. I just want to show how you quickly do this. So you just want to do this, drag, effects, object, outline object. I find that a white is the best one. I tend to get it to about 10. I think that looks pretty good. 5 you could probably do on that. 5 works. And then you press OK, and you've got it. And you can also have the option to repeat, which is awesome. So you can keep doing that on other things. For example, you can do it on this over here. So you can see that it repeats. But that's not really important. Photoshop, Paint.net, whatever you do, isn't really important. What's important is recording the Let's Plays, recording it to a high quality. I really hope this helped, guys. If it did, be sure to leave a massive thumbs up. Recommend it to your friends if you know they need help doing stuff like this. Hopefully it was helpful. And if you want to see more like this, maybe some editing tutorials and stuff that just makes recording Let's Plays and editing it much easier, be sure to let me know. And I'll see everyone in the next video. Goodbye.